This mysterious fish is more common than you'd think. This is a ribbonfish. These crazy looking fish are found all over the world, and in some cultures, they even eat these aliens raw. We're gonna fillet these fish a little differently than normal. First thing we're gonna do is pop the head off. Little smack like that, they come off very easily. Then we're going to make a nice long incision, cutting off part of its stomach. That way we can open it up, and we're gonna take all of this stomach out. We wanna puncture that membrane right there to get to the kidney. The kidney is the blood that runs right underneath those ribs there. We're gonna cut all that out. That right there is the fish kidney. What's crazy about these fish is they don't actually have a swim bladder, which is really wild. We're gonna hose off the inside just to get the rest of that gook out of there. Get it off our cutting board, have a nice clean surface. And I'm sure you guys are thinking, I thought you said you don't want fresh water to touch your fish. That is absolutely correct. Only spot where we have exposed meat right now is this front part, and that did get some fresh water, and that's unfortunate. But inside of here, this membrane is protecting the meat from that fresh water. So as long as it's not actually touching our fillet, you're good. We're also gonna pop off this tail here. Just a little smack like that, it comes right off. All right, we're ready to fillet this crazy looking fish called ribbonfish. So you can see the center spine right there. This is gonna be easy. All we're gonna do is get our knife right on top and just slide down. Have your knife resting on top of that spine as you slide down, and just like that, there's your ribbonfish fillet. Now that's not the half of it. It looks like you have a lot of meat right here, but just wait until you see all the different spots this fish has bones in it. First, we're gonna cut the other side. We're gonna flip this over. You wanna get your knife right on top of that spine. You can hold onto that belly for grip. So that's why I like this nice long knife. It helps me just make a nice, long, smooth motion just like that, and not much left on there. You could take a spoon and scrape the excess meat off the top of that spine and make sure you don't lose out on anything. Our next step is to cut the ribs out of our ribbonfish. So they're right here. We're just gonna run all the way down just like that, and those ribs come right out. On the outside here, you've got these little red pockets. Those can be a little fishy, and we're gonna cut those out as well. We're gonna repeat the process on this fillet, go right underneath those rib bones and slide down. Got this little bit of a red cap on the outside, just like that, gone. These fish have edible skin, and it's thin, it's delicate, and if you get it crispy, it's delicious. But if you wanna remove the skin, you can see that there's no bloodline between the meat and the skin. Often, there's a layer of blood between meat and skin on these ribbonfish. It's just not there. So while you're skinning, you wanna make sure that your knife is flat and not angled down. If your knife is angled down, you'll cut straight through that skin. There we go. And you can see, this fish naturally separates into different sections. Check this out. It just has this crazy natural separation into 4 separate loins. Now the pin bone line on these guys are not your average Y bone. These bones go all the way down. So you can start from the tail and just run your knife all the way down. You can see this white line. You can also feel the little bones with that white line. And there you go, you have your 2 sections. This one is now boneless. This one still has the pin bone on this side. So we're gonna repeat the process, and that bone line comes right out just like that. That is a long pin bone line. And these 2 strips are what you're left with. Now, you can section this up and fry it. It's just a clean, white, mild meat. It's got a kind of a soft texture, and there's really not much to it. Leaving the skin on is a way to keep a little bit of that texture and flavor to it. Another popular way to cook up these crazy looking fish is staked. We're gonna cut it into sections, leaving the bone in. You can come straight down, give it a little knock, that head comes right off. Find the start of the belly right there. Take a little sliver right off. Clean out the insides. Make sure to get all that kidney blood out of there. All right, go there, little knock. Now, remember that part that we were cutting off of the fillet? That's gonna run around the outside, close to that dorsal fin there. So what we're gonna do before we stake it up is we're going to cut that whole part right out. You have little tiny bones and cartilage in there, and you can see the blood that we just cut out. Now it's ready to stake up. And if your knife is good enough, you can cut straight through, just like that. Otherwise, go down to the bone, give it a little knock, and pull back. You see how clean and white that meat is. These fish are just super clean tasting, mild, not a lot of flavor going on at all. So if you like your fish not tasting like fish, you'd probably like this mysterious looking ribbon fish. Almost every ribbon fish I've ever caught, I've stuck in the freezer to give to one of our local commercial sword fishermen as bait. Unfortunately for them, after trying them, I'm probably gonna eat more of them from now on. And there you go, crispy skin over some coals and you are good to go. These fish will take on whatever flavor you put on them. Now we're taking these strips and we're cutting it into little sections like this. All right, we're gonna take these steaks and show you how easy they are to get cooked up. So where we live, we really don't get enough ribbon fish in our area for there to really be much of a commercial market. Whenever I've caught a ribbon fish in the past, I always just stuck it in the freezer for one of our local commercial sword fishermen. And when he'd come in next to drop off his catch, I'd give him the ribbon fish and he'd use it as bait for his next trip. So this bait fish is actually underrated table fare. A lot of people consider anything that's not fishy as good quality fish. If you're one of those people that doesn't like fishy fish, then you would love this bait fish. We're just gonna make simple tacos with this beautiful fish because after you skin and debone it, as you see, it turns into a bunch of straggly little pieces. We're gonna take our jalapeno, throw them on the Rectech to char them up a little bit while we get the rest of our veggies cut up. If you leave the butt of your onion attached, it helps hold everything all together. And you can make incisions like this, as long as you don't go all the way to the end. This isn't the best veggie chopping knife, but you can then have perfect size onion pieces and it all holds together just like that. Squeeze some lime in there. All right, got a little bit of that smoke on the jalapeno. Chop the top off, split it down the middle. Getting these jalapenos chopped up nice and small. Again, we're backyard cooking. You don't have to go crazy with symmetry, just, you know, however you like it. This is about the size that I go for. Got jalapeno, onion, tomato, cilantro. Now all we need is salt. Go generous with that salt. And this is good to go. This is just gonna be our taco topper. We're gonna get going on cooking up our ribbon fish. Look how clean that meat looks, just super white. We're gonna start with our bone-in pieces because they're gonna take a little bit longer to cook. We wanna make sure that we get these nice and dry. There's a little bit of moisture from being inside of that bag. And we're using Rectech's Loco Gringo, just a good Southwest spice. Mix it up, get that coated on all sides. Got our Rectech griddle preheated. Gonna hit it with some pork fat, and by some, I mean a lot of pork fat. We're gonna make some good tasting bait here today, you guys. All right, while that's cooking up, we're gonna get some dipping sauce going, which is just a good Southwest seasoning with sour cream. It makes a killer taco topping. All right, those aren't gonna take much longer, so we're gonna get our boneless, skinless fillets going. Just like its counterparts, we're just hitting it with the simple seasoning. Now again, this is a mild tasting fish. It would taste fine with nothing but salt and pepper. All right, these guys are ready to come off and we're gonna get our boneless, skinless fillets working. Just 8 ounces of ribbon fish gives you 36 to 50 grams of protein. It's loaded with good, healthy fats, and it has great micronutrients like calcium, phosphorus, and iron. Looking good. Toasting your tortillas is just such an easy way to get a more flavorful taco shell. Oh yeah, that's what we want. While that's finishing up, we're gonna take a bite of our bone-in ribbon fish. This looks phenomenal. Skin, meat, that's delicious. So often the skin does add a little bit more fish flavor, but the skin on this ribbon fish is just like super mild. All right, our tortillas are good and greased up. While our fish is browning for another moment, we're gonna take our sour cream all over like that. Nice portion of our taco meat right there. throw on your quick pico, and that is it. Quick, delicious. If you fed this to your friends, they'd have no clue they were eating such a mysterious fish. Thanks for watching. Have a killer day.